Welcome again. So we are continuing with the beginners learning Blazor. Now today we are in the part 5, which is chain bind. So what is a chain bind? In a chain bind, multiple levels of binding occur at the same time, and that's why the name chained bind. And in chain bind, the event handler and the value must be specified separately. That is, add bind syntax cannot be used to implement chain bind in the pages element, in the child pages element. But a parent component, however, can use the add bind syntax with the child's component parameter, and we will now switch over to Visual Studio. Now here is our project Get Started Blazor, where I am actually doing all the tutorials so far. So let's right click the pages folder and I will add another Blazor component, which is a nothing but a razor component. So add new item, Blazor and razor, very similarly sounding name, right? I hope it doesn't confuse us. So I will make this razor component known as account field. So account field is a new component, and what I am going to show you is that we'll create a text field where you can put your account number, bank account number, and then you can see the runtime an error if you put a space between in the account number, if it doesn't allow a space, empty space, and it straight away gives you a validation message. So let's start. I will just get rid of this account field header, and instead I will put a word account, and then this is the CSHTML site, so HTML type of code. So this will be an input box or a text box where the on input event I will call a method on account changed, which I am yet to write. So it will come up with the squiggly lines. So don't worry about that. We'll come to that in a bit. So on account change. Now this is a required field. So our IntelliSense gives you the required, and then this is a type which will be decided at runtime, and type will be on the evaluation of a method which returns a bool, and that method is also not written so far, so I will just get to that point again. So ShowAccount, and what that ShowAccount, if this will return a boolean true or false, and if it is true, if the account is to be shown, then it will write it as a text type. Input type is a text, otherwise it will be a password, it is hidden. Okay, so password. So again, this doesn't exist in the context, so we'll all do it one by one. So required type is there, then the value is at account. Actually this is type and this is required. This is required actually. This is a validation that this is required. Then value is taken from a parameter at account, a field account, okay, at account, because it is at the rate is C# that will evaluate. Now then this is input tag is done with, and then I'll have to create a button, and the class is probably by, if you have gone through all the first 4 lectures, you might have come to the conclusion that it is a button primary type of button primary, and on click of the button, on this is the on-click event handler. So on click of the button, I want a method to run, and that is this toggle show account, which is also right now not written, yet to be written. So, and this is the, what is the text on the button is show account. Right. Now, then there is a span, and the class is text danger, okay, because there is a validation message. So, and here it will take the value from a field validation message, not this one, but small v. This is a camel casing notation, validation message, add validation message, which is also not there. So at code block needs to be written now. So what will constitute in this at code block? Probably you have figured out correctly. I need to, initialize and declare a variable. This is not a variable. This is show account. This is a variable show account. Okay, whether it is true or false, it's not a method. And then I'll have to create one more as validation message, which is also a private string. So, and then third, an account, private string account, private bool. Now show account, the same spelling. So this will take care of that, this squiggly line. So it is gone now. And then another private string, this time it is a string, account, and the last one is another private string, validation message, this one. So if you permit me to copy it from here, all right. So validation message, and that will also go away. Okay, that's also gone. Right, now I have to declare a few parameters, which are parameters to this component, which is account field component. So an attribute parameter, got a few are there to choose from, and then I will create a public string account. Okay, so this is actually public property. So public string account, which will basically encapsulate this private string field, this local string field, and then in the getter and setter, in the get, what it will do is it will just return the account, this private field, if it is non-null, and if it is null, then it is empty. It will return empty string. And then semicolon, and then the setter. So in the setter, there's a few things need to be checked. That is the validation. So if there's a decision statement, if account, supposing some user has changed the account number, so it is no more matching with the value. So if account not equals value, and then if it contains a space, empty space, I told you in the beginning that we are going to do the validation check for empty spaces. So this one, if on changing of this account number, if value dot contains what it, if it contains an empty space, then I will come up with a validation message, no spaces allowed. Then this validation message will be assign no spaces allowed in the account number. Okay, so basically that means that there should not be any spaces allowed in the account number. Else if it is there is no space, then account is the value and validation message becomes white space or nothing. Validation message equals string dot empty string. Okay, right. Now I have to write a parameter which is an event callback. If you have seen my previous videos, then you will know what is an event callback, and if not, please go through the video on event callback. So I'll declare an event callback, public event callback. Okay, a bound event handler delegate. Okay, and then event handler delegate, this will be event handler delegate is account change. With this child component is tied to its parent container. Okay, so getter and this setter again gets it, and this account changed will come up later. I will show you in the next method, which is a private, and it returns a task, private task, and I will call it on account changed, and pass it a changed event args e, and this should return a task. So here this is account is with capital A. If the account is changed, then it will get its value from this event args e dot value dot to string, convert it to string. Okay, the event args value, it will get the account, and then the method will return account changed, this event callback dot invoke async. Asynchronously it will invoke async. So what does it do? It invokes the delegate associated with this binding and dispatches an event notification to the appropriate component. So it will dispatch the event notification to the component that is the parent, which consumes this child element. We'll see that in a bit, and I will pass this account with a capital A, not the one with the small a. Okay, and then finally there will be a private void. There's a private method which is returning empty and which will toggle the account. Right, now here you can see toggle show account, that will be the name of this method. So just copy it for the sake of being quick and not to make any mistake in the spelling. So now show account. Now finally, this show account is not equal to show account. So what was show account? It was a boolean. Okay, it will toggle between true and false. Show account equals, if it is true, this becomes false, and vice versa. Okay, right. So this is the component I have written, child component. Now I will need to create an account setter component. So add new item. This will be called as account setter. Okay. So I need to have a page directive. So set it to the particular URL, and I will call this URL /account setter, or account set, simply account set. All right, you can as well create a navigation menu if you like by this nav menu.razor, but for this it is not needed, just to save some time typing. And here in the code, I'll just to declare a private string account, private field, so string type, string account, and then this tag will contain this account field, which is a child component, and add bind. Now this is the chained bind. Add bind account, because I could use, if you go back to the slideshow, you will see that I could use the add binds for binding in the parent component which holds this child. Okay. All right, that's all done. So let's run this application with Control F5. So I have run the application with the Control F5, and you have got this on this URL, localhost : 5000, port 5000, port number 5000 /account set. Okay, so if you give any account number 1 2 3 4 5 6 whatever, and if you click on show account, what will you expect? It will toggle to the password field. So this is password field, it's this text field, and now what if you put a space over there, it will say no space is allowed. So that is what I wanted to show you. And before leaving, we have seen that account field component that sets the account number field in a text input and traps error if a space has been used in the account number value. And this is the code. You can see the code, completed code, and chained bind helps implementing multiple levels of binding simultaneously. So that's all. Thank you.